Hello and welcome to Swiss Watchgang. Today we have another episode of a watch review for you guys. I hope you like the episode so far. If you do, comment down below what you think and which watch you want us to review in the future. Today we have another watch review for you. It's gonna be a special piece from a company that's not that well known but creates immaculate timepieces. Today we're gonna talk about Cyrus. Cyrus is a watch brand located in the French part of Switzerland. It's located in Le Château, if I pronounce it correctly. Its neighbors are Zenith, Chapec, Ulysse Nardin, Christophe Claret, and many more. Le Château is a small village housing a lot of watch brands, and it's known for being a watchmaking core, because it's also very near to the French border. Cyrus has been founded in 2010, and since then has been making very uniquely designed watches, with focus on avant-garde design, special materials, and also in-house movements and complications you don't see every day. What we have in my hands today is the Cyrus Vertical Tourbillon Skeleton, which was launched this year at Baselworld in March. It's actually the second version of this watch. Previously, it was launched last year at Baselworld as a non-skeleton version. So the parts where you can see that are see-through / skeletonized were before covered with like a black prisma-shaped cover. This watch is actually very important because it's the world's first centrally aligned vertical tourbillon. So why a vertical tourbillon and not a horizontally aligned tourbillon as you know them most of the time and you see them around? A vertical tourbillon makes more sense because back in the day in 1795, where Abraham Louis Breguet invented the tourbillon, people wore pocket watches, something like this. And as you can see, they wore them vertically to the ground and to the body. You see? Makes sense. So the balance wheel was actually vertically aligned to the ground to affect the gravity. And in modern times, a horizontal tourbillon doesn't make much sense, or it doesn't really help the accuracy. That's why Cyrus engineers and developers, one of them is the well-known watchmaker Jean-François Maujon, created a vertical tourbillon. Because over a 24-hour period, they saw that a vertically aligned tourbillon on the movement and on the wrist makes more sense and adds more to the accuracy of the watch than a horizontally tourbillon would. And it's also something that has never been made before, and people love a world first in the watchmaking business. So why not do it if you have the industrial capabilities and the knowledge? If we go to the dial of the watch now, the watch itself doesn't have a real dial except the minute and the hour tracks on the sides. What strikes me most about this watch when I first look at it is the bridge in the middle, the arching bridge. It's actually an inspiration by Leonardo da Vinci's Golden Horn Bridge, which you can see in Norway. As you can see from the side, the bridge is very unique. It's also hand polished and sandblasted to give it this contrasty look. On top of the bridge you have the power reserve, which this watch has plenty of. It has a total of approximately 100 hours of power reserve. It's a manual winding movement, so you have to wind it yourself, which gives it a bit of extra feeling, you know, this personal touch. On the bottom of the bridge you have the Cyrus logo. It's applied on it, not stamped or something. And the bridge is held together by 4 mirror polished screws. What also strikes you probably is the question, why does this watch have 2 crowns each on one side? It is one for design purposes, so the watch is symmetrically the same and beautifully balanced, but also it has a functionality. So the right crown, the usual crown which you have in every watch, is used to first of all wind the watch, and second of all, when you pull it out to the first position, you can set up the time like this. And yes, you just saw a jump. I'm going to explain to you later what this is. The second crown here is actually made for design purposes. It doesn't turn, but it functions as a quick hour set button, like a pusher. So once you push this one, you can quickly set up the hour if you are, for example, traveling, or if you just want to play with the watch a bit because you have some free time. Just be careful because it's a very complex movement, but if it's your watch, why not? See how the hour jumps. And once it comes to 12 o'clock, it jumps again in a retrograde fashion to 1 o'clock, like this. Why this watch is also important is because it has not one but two retrograde skeletonized hands, as you can see here for the minutes and here for the hours. What's difficult here is to create a double retrograde basically. So as you see, when I'm turning the time, when I'm going from 0 to 60, the hours jump and the minute hand always retrogrades back to 0. Once we come to 12 o'clock, both hands at 12:58, for example, aligned diagonally. And when I turn the crown, both hands will jump at the same time, which is really difficult to create. And it's a very cool effect. It's actually being made and regulated by these two snail cams, which are on the lower part of the movement, or on the dial, if we can call it a dial. One is positioned at 4 o'clock and one at 7 o'clock. And they are both mirror polished. The main plate, or the dial, is, if we can call it like this, has also a black prism shaped decoration to add a bit of swag to it. As you can see, the tourbillon is in the middle, and also you can clearly see it from almost each angle when you look at the watch, which I find is very beautiful. On top of the tourbillon you have the seconds indicator, which is displayed in 5 increments. And the 60-second marker is painted red, so you can see when the minute is gonna end basically. The hands are rose gold, skeletonized, so you can see through the movement and nothing obstructs it. And they are sandblasted and hand polished, which again adds a bit of more watchmaking and savoir-faire to the whole play. The hour track has also gotten a lot of attention, which you can see here is black or grayish grained and with a rose gold frame around it, so you can distinctively see where it is. If we focus on the case of the watch, it's very well built as well. It's a 44mm case, excluding the crowns, and it's constructed of about 26 pieces from what I've heard from the brand itself. It's beautifully finished as well. It has 3 different types of finishings. One is a satin finish on the lugs and on the bezel. One is polished also throughout the whole case. You can see the polishing factors. And one is microblasted, which you can see on the side of the lugs from both sides. The buckle is also in rose gold with the Cyrus logo on top. And once we open up the watch, you can see the Cyrus logo again here. If you look at the watch like this, you can see that it's actually see-through. So the point where the tourbillon is there's a big hole in it. So you can see the seconds hand sweeping away from front and the back side. On the back of the case, you have a few writings. It says that it's developed by Jean-François Maujon, which is a very important factor because he's a great watchmaker and a great person as well. This watch is a limited edition of 5 pieces only. You have it in full rose gold, like the model we see here. You have it in a full rose gold case with a black DLC bezel, or you have it in a black DLC case and bezel, which is actually made out of titanium, which makes it very light and really cool. Who doesn't love an all black watch? On the back side as well, the movement is beautifully decorated. You can see the 2 barrels, which I explained before. The watch has 100-hour power reserve approximately, with the Cyrus logo on top of the barrel as well. And the finishing of the movement, which is beautifully made at Chronaut in Le Chatron, is actually featuring a unique decoration, which Cyrus calls the Rays of Glory, which are sandblasted and also like satin finished. Let me now show you slowly how the watch looks on my wrist. So what you do is you open up the deployment buckle, you set the size to your wrist size, which I have cleverly figured out before the video, and you put the watch on your wrist. Easy. So from the size, it fits me because I have a bigger size wrist than the usual. This is how it looks. And because of the ergonomics of the lugs, again, the case hugs the wrist, as you can see here. I think it's beautiful. It's something that you should buy if you really love watches, you have the budget for a watch like this, because it definitely doesn't come cheap. And also if you can appreciate this, not just for the watchmaking aspect or because you want to know the time, but also because you just appreciate art and the inspiration of Leonardo da Vinci in this watch, and just the hard work people put behind it. That was it for this watch, guys. If you have any questions about this particular model or any other Cyrus watch, let me know in the comments below. And on the side, you have again a picture of the watch we will be reviewing next time. Again, if you think that you know which watch this is, comment down below. And maybe, like last time, you might be right, you might be wrong. But I think one day your time will come. Thank you so much for tuning in, and see you next time.